So I got bullied growing up. And for the longest time, I thought that was just something that happened to me. Um, and something, something to move past and forget about. But looking back, I realized those years taught me more about mental toughness, resilience, and how to operate under pressure than anything else in my life. Today, I'm going to share what I learned because if you've ever been counted out, talked down to, or made to feel like you weren't enough, this one is for you. All right, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend like getting bullied didn't hurt because it did. Especially when you're young and the people around you are making you feel small. That gets into your head in a way that's hard to explain to someone who hasn't been through it. And you start to believe the narrative, right? You start to wonder if maybe they're right. Maybe I am the problem. And that right there, that moment of self doubt, is actually where the most important lesson begins because how you respond to that voice, the one that says you're not enough, determines everything about the man that you're becoming, the man that you are going to become. Now, pain will either break you or it builds you. And you're going to have to be the one to decide which one it does. The first thing I learned is that pain is not the enemy, all right? Your response to pain is what matters. Um, most people go one or two ways when life puts pressure on them. They either collapse inward, they get small, they avoid, they shrink, or they use it. Okay, they take that pain and they convert it into fuel, into hunger, into an absolute refusal to let the people who counted them out be right. Okay, so I'm telling you guys right now, choose that path. I made a decision somewhere in the middle of all of that, that I was going to use every single thing that happened to me, not to get revenge, not to prove anybody wrong. That's the wrong motivation. It actually burns out pretty quick. But to prove something to myself, to become the kind of man that the kid getting bullied would look up to. Um, that decision changed everything for me because the moment you stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the author of your response to them, your whole life shifts. Nobody call or yeah, nobody can take that from you. That's absolutely yours. And the next thing is pressure actually reveals character. Okay, so it is your job to seek it out because that's the second thing that I learned. Is pressure doesn't build character; it actually reveals it. And if you've been under real pressure, you don't, or if you've never been under real pressure, actually, you don't actually know who you are yet. And being bullied put me under pressure every single day. And what it revealed was that I had more in me than I thought, that I could take hits and keep going, that I could be knocked down socially, emotionally, mentally, and still show up the next day. And that's a muscle. And like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it. And the problem is, most men in their 20s are actively avoiding pressure. They want the comfortable job, the path with the least friction, the life that doesn't ask too much of them. And they're robbing themselves of the only process that actually builds the kind of inner strength that holds up when real life gets real. And trust me, it will get real. Okay, so you need to seek it out. You need to seek out hard things on purpose. And not because you enjoy suffering, but because you understand what it's building in you. Okay, and what people think of what people think of you is none of your business. Okay, that lesson took me the longest to learn. And again, what other people think of you is none of your business. When you're being bullied, right? Other people's opinions feel like everything, right? Your whole world narrows down to what this person said, what that group thinks, whether you're accepted or rejected. And that kind of living is exhausting. Okay, it hands your peace of mind over to people who haven't earned the right to hold it. At some point, I had to make a decision to stop seeking validation from people who didn't want me to win in the first place. And when I did, something interesting happened. All right, I got free. And this wasn't overnight, it wasn't perfectly done, but I stopped performing for an audience that wasn't rooting for me and started building for the one that mattered. And that's myself, my family, the people who actually show up, right? The man who needs everyone's approval will never fully commit to his own path. When you do that, you keep yourself stuck in a box, in a cage, when you try to show up for the wrong people, right, and for the wrong reasons, because when you never fully commit to your own path, the path will always be shaped by what other people think of it, and that's not freedom. That's a life sentence. And here's what I want you to take away from this, right? Whatever you've been through, bullying, failure, which all of us are going to go through some sort of failure in life. That's inevitable. Being counted out, being overlooked, none of it is wasted. Every bit of it is material, right? Every hard moment is a lesson that someone else hasn't learned yet. And that gives you an edge if you're willing to own it instead of hide from it, right? Pain either makes you bitter or it makes you better. And I'm sure a lot of us have heard that before, but it is true. The choice belongs to you and nobody else. So if this resonated with you, right, I need you to share it with someone who needs to hear it today, because it's not just you having these thoughts, these feelings, right? Because when I was getting bullied, again, I thought it was just me. But what's so important about having these conversations and talking with other people is that you realize you're not alone. But if you don't talk to other people, or if you don't hear from other people like you're hearing from me right now, you'll never know that. And if you're new here, this is what we do on this channel, right? Real conversation, real lessons, real strategies for men. But only for men who are serious about building something, right? So I need you to subscribe and come back every single week, because we'll have some good conversations over here. If you got questions, concerns, something that we need to talk about, drop it down in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one.